Corinne, can you tell us more about the findings in that report?
Well, we find that there was a very large operation that took place over several days in the town of Moura, which, as you noted, has been quasi-controlled by the armed Islamists for several years. There were a few hundred soldiers who largely parachuted in. There were a few exchanges of gunfire. There were armed Islamists there at the time, but after those initial exchanges of gunfires, the soldiers surrounded the town, which had filled up with hundreds of traders because it was a market day. They then took them to a place a little east of the village, and they held them over 4 days, during which the soldiers took them out in small groups and executed them. A few of our witnesses described having been forced to dig mass graves into which many of these people were executed and then put in. So it's a very serious, we characterize this as the worst single atrocity in the 10-year war, which began in 2012.
Well, the Malian Ministry of Defense insists that the operation in Moura town targeted violent extremist groups. What's your reaction to that?
Well, there were absolutely jihadists in the town at that time. And again, it is an area which is largely controlled by them. However, our findings found that those killed were people in custody. And again, the vast majority were traders. There may have been some jihadists who had ditched their arms and tried to blend in with the local population. There didn't seem to be much effort to figure out who was who. It appeared to be an act of collective punishment against the population for their real or perceived support of the armed Islamists.
Well, what steps, though, do you propose should be taken to ensure civilians in Moura are protected?
Well, first of all, this has been a devastating year for civilians who have been killed in their hundreds, not just by in security force operations, but also by the armed Islamists. And we've called on the government to conduct independent and credible inquiry into abuses by all sides. And because this is a largely military transitional government after the coup last year, we are urging that the government seeks the support of the United Nations, which has a peacekeeping force, as well as the African Union, so that they may ensure credible and impartial investigations.
All right, Corinne Dufka in Mali for us. Thank you.